What's up, guys? Good morning. I'm getting ready to go out and do some scouting, maybe hang some cameras. And I glanced out the window before I left the house, and there's 4 hens and a bunch of poults out here. They're actually over here dusting Ted's fire pit right now behind Nick's truck. Doesn't look like a whole ton of poults, but it's a good sign that there is some little ones running around. Four hens and probably half a dozen poults. That's what I can see. But some of that brush in the woods is pretty thick, so I might be missing a few of them. That's a good sign, though. We've been wanting to see some baby turkeys running around. I saw 4 gobblers in the driveway yesterday afternoon when I come home from the grocery store, so that's a good sign. Now I'm going to go get in the truck, head down the road, and keep scouting. We've been driving around scouting for velvet bucks, and we found a bunch of them. Most of them are on private ground, but one spot where we saw a few of them last week is real close to public, and I'm not familiar with that area, so I need to go in there, scout around. I'll probably blow it up, maybe hang some cameras or something, and go from there. Come along.
See that licking branch right there? Me and Nick been walking a while, probably a mile and a half so far, mainly through a bunch of closed canopy timber. We stumbled upon this perennial scrape, at least that's what it looks like, because there's a bunch of licking branches broke above it. You can see where the dirt has been pawed out over the years. There's a rub on the tree. Nick's over there filming another rub about 10 yards from it. And we just have not seen that type of buck sign, old buck sign, all the way down through here. Right behind me here, there's a little opening in the canopy where some trees fell or something. It's not a very big, thick area. It's like a 1/4 of an acre. As soon as we hit this little opening where the sunlight's getting to the ground and the ground cover's getting thick, we start running the buck sign. Keep that in mind, because you can't see these things from an aerial photo a lot of times. They're just little pockets of sunlight in the woods where, like I said, a storm could have came through and blown some trees over. Who knows? Any place where there is some sort of edge, where there's some sunlight getting to the ground, there's going to be more of that high stem count cover that bucks are going to like. They obviously like this one at one time or another because there's buck sign in here. Yeah, this is the stuff right here. Oh, that's sharp and spiny. I don't know what it is, but you can see how much taller it is right here behind me. See, all that's nipped off? That's just what we were talking about. All this is nipped off in here. We finally got a little patch of sunlight, and we got some higher undergrowth, and deer are in here browsing on all this stuff. Grab that Miller Lite can there and put that in my backpack.
I mean, just a bad look for Miller Lite drinkers everywhere.
Put that in there.
Secured.
Put that in Ted's can collection.
Yep. You got $10 off that earlier today.
I hate looking at acorns because I get all that, I tip my binos up and then all that crap falls down in my eyes.
I was trying to get all them canary grass seeds out of there earlier, and I put one right into my eye socket.
Yep. That one's full of them right there, Nick. We just walked through a bunch of white oaks. I mean, literally miles of them, basically. Dropped in off of these finger ridges where there's this pretty deep ditch down here below us. Right here at the top of the ditch, red oaks growing everywhere. If you go another 75, 80 yards to the top of the ridge, they transition more into white oak dominant trees. But down here there's a pile of red oaks and they're loaded. So like this trail intersection at the top of this ditch is something we're gonna pay attention to.
Yep.
I mean, not right now, but during fall.
Might even put a pin on it.
We can come in on that main ridge and then we can just pop right over the hill. And we can check for fresh sign right here.
That could be all the difference.
That's usually the case. It's like you could set up in good buck sign on top of the hill in those white oaks and that real flat and open stuff. But he is going to be way out on these points in these little pockets where sunlight's getting to the ground, where it's thickened up.
Yep.
And then he's going to creep up the edge of these ditches feeding on acorns that funnel right in the top of the ditch. And he's down here out of sight, out of mind. He's not up there where all that human scent's at. That's what I think's going on anyway.
Makes
sense a heck
to
of
me.
A trail.
This one here is beat down. Looks like I-20.
That's a Texas interstate.
Runs right all the way through it.
Yes, sir.
There's a 2022 acorn.
Sure enough.
They start falling some here on windy days in August.
I've been seeing a couple back up in there, but I wasn't sure if
Yeah.
it was something fresh.
That's a red oak or that black oak or something, I don't know. Deer are gonna be hammering these at one point here in the next couple of months. We just gotta figure out when. Yeah, he's about rubbed the life right out of it. No doubt about that. Pretty good trail that you're on there, Nicholas.
Yeah, it is.
Coming right up by it, right there. We're in a good spot back here for sure. Never been in here before. Just went for a walk today and figured we'd just gom around a bit and see what we came up with. This is exactly what we look for when we're out here scouting. We've got anticipated bedding down here, right over my shoulder. Trail leading up out of bedding. Buck sign on the trail right here next to Nicholas. And then out on top here, we've got oaks with acorns in them. We've actually glassed up in the tops of some of these red oaks, and we can see that they're carrying a bunch of acorns that are going to drop probably in the next month and a half. So if we come in on the top and we see a bunch of buck sign up there, we can follow it back to this trail right here where this rub's at. And then we're kind of in that little staging area in between the oaks that they're feeding on and the bedding right here. The only issue is come fall, this is going to be wide open out through here. So if I'm standing right here making a bunch of noise during hunting season, anything bedded out there in that bottom is going to see me from a long ways away unless we got like a ton of wind cover or something. So we might have to just come over top of that ridge right there and pop up in a tree right there where we can see down this hill, and then try to kill him as he's coming up this hill at last light. That's an option. Anyway, don't know if that'll be how it turns out or not. Probably not. But if you get enough of these options in your playbook, then eventually one of them works.
Yep. So you can't just run the I formation. I mean, sometimes you got to mix it up a little bit. Little I right wiggle 24 switchblade. You never know.
Yep.
Run a wing T.
Look here. This is cool. I don't know if y'all can see the old rub on that tree where the bark's scarred up. That's an older one than the one we just found, but look at all the little shoots coming up off this maple. See where they've been browsed off, Nick?
Mm-hmm.
All around that old rub. Big rub right there, trails right here, oaks up top, maple rub here, and maple shoots right there. Oh, I know.
One right there, another one right there, right there.
There's a bunch of beds right here.
I mean, it's in the bunkhouse.
Just found a bunch of beds right here behind Nick. As soon as we came down that trail, not 15 yards from that rub. Those are all real fresh. I mean, there's this stuff, look here where they've been browsing on all this, where it's a little bit closer to water. There's more moisture. They tend to bed here a lot in the summer in these low creek bottoms and stuff, and they'll kind of shift around as it gets closer to fall. A good spot for sure. Deer back here right now, and they're obviously in here during the fall too. Kind of an oddball spot though to pick from a map. I mean, there's no like real defined terrain funnel in here or anything like this. It's pretty monotonous country, but I don't think very many people are hunting back here right now. Me and Nick are headed out of the woods right now. We've been scouting the last couple hours. We're going to try to get back to the car so we can cruise around and see if we can spot a few velvet bucks before it gets dark. But I'm hoping that you guys are starting to see this process a little bit. I know these scouting videos get kind of boring and we keep bringing them to you over and over again, but that's one thing that we decided we were going to do at the end of last year. As y'all know, we struggled last fall a good bit. We unanimously decided that we needed to get fewer tags this fall, focus on fewer places, spend more time scouting around home, because every year we do that, it ends up paying off. I don't know if it will this year or not, but we've definitely put in more scouting time this summer than we have in several years. Well, since summer of 2020, and we killed a lot of bucks at home in 2020. So hopefully we'll get a repeat performance this year. We're just putting in the work now, and we're finding similar situations in different habitats and in different spots. We're looking for bedding areas that are remote, that are way the heck back in there, and we're trying to find the exits leading out of those bedding areas that could be heading to potential food sources this fall. That could be ag fields, that could be acorns, that could be natural browse. We found probably 10 or 12 of them just in the last 2 or 3 weeks scouting. That's the update. Things are coming along on the cabin. We're actually going to buy some lumber tomorrow. We're gonna turn our garage into a trophy room slash living area slash bunk house, if you will. So me and Nicholas are headed to the city tomorrow to grab some materials. And we've had a pile of turkeys around the house like we talked about earlier in the video. So we're pretty stoked about that. No big bucks. We've been running the cameras, just getting does and fawns and stuff on there so far, but hopefully that'll change come fall, because there's some old rut sign right there 40 yards from the house. Yep. You never know. We'll see you. Hopefully we'll be able to show you a few velvet bucks on the way out of here.
God, they run funny in them beans.
They do. They got a bound up and over them.